guys, well, it's 2012 now. Today is the 4th, I believe. And well, I kind of recently I got the idea to start doing a new line of videos related to like my DVD updates or my movies and all that. And basically, I got thinking, well, something I would like to start doing is basically at the end of each year, even though I know I'm a few days late for this, or like maybe at the end of each year, basically show my DVD collection, as a whole, and then like pluck out some of all the movies that I bought, that year, and kind of show how much my DVD collection has grown. And basically, like what I'll start doing next year is basically at the beginning of the year I'll do a quick video like showing my DVD collection as a whole. Even though I won't upload that, but then like at the end of the year I'll do another video where like I'm going to do today, where I'll show my DVD collection, then pull out the ones I bought, like this year, for example, if this was like at the end of the year, and then like I'll edit the two videos together and upload it, But that's a long way from now. Before all that will happen, that will be like the end of next year, I suppose. But anyway, this will be two separate videos, I guess, this year. Just to get started or whatever. So anyway, this is my DVD collection as a whole right now, as you can see. It's in my closet. So I remember I remember watching a video recently of a DVD update. Hold on, let me unplug this for a second. I remember watching a DVD update. I think it was Wet Movie 1. Somebody said on his video how one day he was planning on catching up with him, but like right now he only has 3 cases, like 3 bookshelves full. I was like, only? My gosh, man. All my movies don't even take up a full shelf in my closet. And I'm not kidding. Look. It's not even it doesn't even take up the full shelf yet. So yeah, anyway, these are, I'm not going to show you like individually I've already done a video like that, like showing you individually what all the movies I own are, but this is basically the size of my DVD collection as it is today, January the 4th, 2012. And well, I guess that said, I will now pluck out the movies that I bought last year and run through. Kind of a DVD update summary as a whole, or whatever you want to call it. So, I'll see you guys in a minute. Hey guys, well, I'm back, and I just pulled out all the ones I know for certain I bought last year, in 2011. Obviously, this is for 2011, of course. So, as you can see, this is, without those movies, this is basically what my DVD collection looked like before I bought these movies last year. See how much space, is left over now. Let's see. I think there may have been one I bought last year, but I can't remember if it was in 2011 or 2010 I bought it. And that was the Spider-Man trilogy. I can't remember if I got that last year or the year before, but so we'll just know once I know for certain. And as you see, these are all the movies that I know for certain I bought last year. Not that many, but yeah, we'll run through. Move this cord right here. That's the adapter for my camera. Okay, first up we'll go through the Blu-rays. I'm not gonna go into detail about these. I'm just gonna show them and move on. Well, I may say 1 or 2 things about them, but first up is The Big Lebowski, which is, of course, I got this I won this in Trey Pastor's first contest that he did last year. It was actually the first contest I ever entered at that. But like I said, I already talked about that before. There's The Big Lebowski. Next up is Camille, which is a kind of like this romantic comedy kind of movie. It's not really a chick flick, or at least it didn't come off like that to me. But yeah, I bought this on Amazon basically after seeing it in a DVD update that Wet Movie 1 did, where he had it. And yeah, I went ahead and bought it last year. I think like in June or July of last year. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, next up is Dawn of the Dead, the original. Probably from the sounds of it, it's probably the most popular of Romero's Dead movies. Also my favorite, I think, of the movies. Next up is Day of the Dead. Yeah. And supposedly, so I hear, Land of the Dead was partially based on a the longer original script for Day of the Dead. And and if the script I've read is actually the original script, from apparently George Romero was going to originally end this with the implication that whatever it was causing the dead to rise was ending. So pretty much also it would have implied that I guess that was going to be like originally that was going to be the last movie. But of course that didn't happen. So yeah, that's Day of the Dead. Next up is The Exorcist, the Steelbook. Yeah, of course, I also won this from Trey Passer recently. First time I actually ever saw the movie. Next up is Hobo with a Shotgun. I bought this in April last year. It's a good movie if you're into that kind of movie style. And this next movie is actually the very first Blu-ray I ever bought, and that is Kick-Ass. I also. Wait, actually, I may be wrong. I can't remember if I got that in April, but I know for certain I got this in April. I may have gotten this like the month after, but that doesn't matter though. This was actually the very first Blu-ray I bought. I actually haven't watched it in a few months, so maybe I'll pop this in pretty soon and watch it. That's my police scanner, if you're wondering, if you can hear that. Next up is the final Blu-ray I have, and that is Labyrinth. Of course, I bought this recently. Next up is probably one of the I think it was one of the first movies I bought last year, and that was Next of Kin, which stars Patrick Swayze. This is another movie I own. I haven't watched it in several months. Actually, I don't think I've watched it since like January or February of last year. I'm not sure why. I need to pop this in again and watch it because I remember enjoying the movie a lot. So it was a pretty decent movie. I think this was the last movie he did of the '80s, and it was like this was the movie he did prior to Ghost, which was like obviously that was his next movie he did, I believe. Anyway, Movie Known is another action movie I bought last year. It's actually 4 of them, but they're on it's like on a 4-film pack though, and they are the 4 substitute movies. By far, the first one is the best one, which is unfortunately the only one that stars Tom Berenger. I wish he had come back to do the sequels, but he did not. The sequel starred Treat Williams. I'm not exactly certain, but I remember thinking the 4th one was the best of the sequels, or that was the one I liked the most. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I remember, but they're all pretty watchable, as far as sequels go. But again, like I said, the first one is by far the best. If you were only going to watch one of these, watch the first one. I remember years ago, I was actually the second one I saw first. And for some reason, for the longest time, I don't know why I thought this, but Treat Williams' character in the substitute sequels, I thought he was the brother of Tom Berenger's character. I don't, and I remember there was a scene where Treat Williams talks about how his brother was killed during a carjacking, which was what brought him to the school in Substitute 2. I had not seen the scene where his brother gets killed, and for some reason, this was like years ago, mind you, but in my mind, for some reason, I thought it was Tom Berenger's character, and I'm not sure why I thought that, because, there was no indication at all. Even if you see the beginning of the movie, it's obvious that it's not the same character, but whatever. Movie known. That's just like a random story involving that. Next up is a John Hughes movie I own, and that is Career Opportunities. Which, as I've said in my DVD update when I got this, it's kind of sad because apparently John Hughes actually hated this movie. To the point that he wanted his name completely removed from it altogether. Which, I think it's sad he hated it so much because, I actually rather enjoyed this movie. And I really think it's one of the last decent movies he did, anyway, so... So I always thought that was kind of a sucky fact to learn. Next up is the movie Freaked, not to be confused with the old black and white movie Freaks. Entirely separate movies. I remember I first saw this movie like in 1994, I believe, on HBO. And it's like one of those, as I said, this is one of those movies that just kind of just stuck with me all my life. I mean, it's a pretty out there kind of movie. Maybe not as bad as a lot of movies, but it's not your typical mainstream movie, that's for sure. So, yeah. Moving on is one of the only 3 documentaries I currently own, and that is No Kidding Me Too, which was done by Joe Pantoliano, if that's how you say his last name. Basically, it's just like a mental illness related documentary where they all kind of all these people just kind of sit around talking about their experiences and stuff they've been through, whatnot. I mean, this is probably of the 3 I own. This is the one I would most recommend checking out. I think it was pretty good. Next up is apparently one of the only two horror movies I own, or what should I say, one of 4, because there's another pack, and that is the Midnight Horror Collection. The first 3 Puppet Master movies. I'll be honest with you. Had I realized the entire Puppet Master Collection series was out in a box set online, I would not have bought this last year. I believe, yeah, this was actually one of the first movies I bought last year, and I would not have bought it had I known that. If you want to know the truth, sooner or later I may either sell this or maybe try to give it away as a prize or something in a contest if I ever do any. Because I mean I do intend on buying the box set someday. Oops. All the movies just fell over. Okay, movie note is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Another great movie. I've always loved this movie ever since I first saw it. Yeah, I had intended on watching this on Thanksgiving last year, but I completely forgot to. It slipped my mind, unfortunately. And next up is the only other horror movie that I bought last year, and that is The Lost Boys. I'm sure most of you guys are well familiar with this. Next up is A Night at the Roxbury. Which of course was a SNL based movie. And I think sometimes it feels like I'm one of the only people who actually enjoyed this movie. And I always have. I've always really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's not a great movie, but I've always enjoyed it. And finally, the last 3 things are TV shows, or TV related. I'll start with the single season one I have, and that is The Walking Dead. Of course, I've said a lot about this recently, so we'll just move on over that. Finally, that is seasons 2 and 5. I got the wrong season, but yeah, somehow I picked up season 4 instead of 5. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Season 2 and 5 I bought last year. Thus finally completing after 6 years, Quantum Leap. I haven't written feedback for season 5 yet because I need to watch the last episode again because honestly I had some issues with being able to watch the last episode. When I tried to watch it in my Blu-ray player, it would not play. It kept freezing at like a certain point. But then it worked in my laptop, but it wouldn't work right in my Blu-ray player. So I'll need to watch it again, see if it will actually work right now. If not, I'll have to mention that in my feedback. Even though I bought these like a few months back. Anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and put these back up here on the shelf now. And that is all the DVDs I bought this year. Maybe not many, but whatever. So I guess as far as these videos are concerned, I will see you guys, doing the same thing at the end of the year. So, well, as for now though, I'll see you guys next time. So, thanks for watching.